Hello, welcome to Sad and Fury Book Reviews. As usual, I am Tina. Today I am doing one of my classic sci-fi book reviews, including my book bingo, and I'm reviewing The Alien Upstairs by Pamela Sargent. So I picked this book because I'm doing the May the Force Be With You, May readathon. And I had to pick between three books, and my daughter picked this one because she says that the woman looks like me. And I'm like, I'm not sure that is a compliment because she looks pretty depressed, but maybe that's how I look all the time. Anyway, this book, this isn't going to be a super long review because this book is pretty short. There's not a lot to unpack, but it is an interesting story. So while the alien aspects of this book aren't too exciting, the depiction of America on the brink of economic and social collapse is depicted with a nuance that made it feel very realistic and quite tonally dark and grim. So what is the book about? Sarah and Gerard were dreamers, two young lovers fighting to make something of their lives in an America battered by depression and despair. Then a mysterious stranger came to stay in their small rural town, a handsome enigmatic being from another world who promised to lead them to a realm beyond their wildest imaginings. But was he an angel come to rescue them from the harsh reality of their lives, or a darker being bent on a strange and terrible purpose? You can see in the cover that there is like an alien ship in the background. It's hard to see like just at first glance, but you're like, oh yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't know what's up with her hat. Also, she doesn't live in a rural landscape. I don't know why they say that on the back, but anyway. So as I said, tonally, The Alien Upstairs is as dreary and cold as a November morning, but this suits the story quite well. Sarah and Gerard, or Gerald, or whatever his name is, are struggling to survive at their department store jobs, unable to find other employment or gain admittance to the Enclave, where things are presumably better. The great thing about this novel is that nothing in the world building is really explained. Sargent is apparently like the queen of showing and not telling, as it was so easy to visualize not only what the world looked like, but how it became that way. But we don't get any background info dumps or even explanations as to why. We're just left to speculate, and that's really fun. Part of the reason why is because we get a lot of the information from dialogue between the characters, and the rest we're left to kind of infer on our own, such as the year. It's written in 1983, but given what another character says at one point about it being like 30 years or something like that, it's set in the late 90s, early 2000s, but we aren't explicitly told that. I mean, though, did she make a good prediction? I mean, the recession at the time was looming, she wasn't that far off. I mean, for some people, this wouldn't look all that different from even today, even though there's like a military state in the book, but I mean, the characters aren't flat, but they are a bit dull. Like, Sarah is a bit of a worrier, and Gerald is brash, which are like their main attributes, though we are given glimpses into like their hobbies and preferences. So it's less of a character-driven story than a novel with a purpose to show us A, how terrible the future could be if we don't stop our stuff, and B, how loneliness causes someone to lose their humanity. The writing is elegant but concise. The dialogue is a bit lackluster though, and sometimes I could have used a few more kind of descriptive lines. But overall, it's a quick, interesting, and a bit depressing story about future America and a man who claims to be an alien. In terms of other themes and spoilers, I'm going to go into my bingo chart right now. Like the last old school sci-fi I read so long ago, I think in March, I'm using the chart as like a jumping off point to some of the moments or themes in the story. So there's going to be spoilers, so if you intend on reading The Alien Upstairs, just stop now and thank you for watching. But if you don't intend on reading it or have read it, stay tuned. So... Bingo chart, this side. Okay, so outdated science. Not really, aside from one kind of technology mentioned in passing that I'll talk about a little later. A spaceship blows up or crashes? No. Predicting social changes? Yes. This entire book depicts the slow economic collapse of America. Apparently Citibank collapses specifically, including a military state that develops. She also mentions the weather being bad, which I take to mean climate change. So yes, definitely. I've got a quote here that kind of sums it up. Where is it? That's not it. She wallowed, trapped by subjectivity. At least she could still afford self-pity, her last remaining luxury. That's a mood. It's definitely a 2022 mood as well as a fake late 90s mood. Let's see, what's next? Sexy female scientists? Nope, we don't have that. Cool aliens? No, Raph is not cool because He's not an alien. There is an alien, actually, at one point. A random alien that doesn't get a lot of screen or page time. I can't even remember if they have a name or not, but they're not very cool because they don't do anything. And Raph is not an alien. He is a human man that has just been given long life by the aliens that put him in charge of the spaceship. So, no cool aliens, except, even though the title is called The Alien Upstairs. Alien human romance? Okay, you'd think yes, because Sarah sleeps with Raph at one point, but it turns out that because Raph is not an alien, it doesn't count. So, unfortunately, no. A generation ship? Nope. Space soldiers? Nope. AI or robots? No. New World? No. Cyberpunk? No. Blatant sexism? No. In fact, I was impressed at how equal this book was. It's almost like Sargent thought things would get better for women in 30 years. Unlike a lot of 80s and 90s books, or at least books, written in the 80s and 90s, there are women cops. There are women soldiers. I think there are more women in the background in these kind of roles and just in the background in general, more than men. And that was very refreshing to me because usually in these books, I'm just like, yeah, old sausage fest, But no, this one's not like that at all. Also, Jerry cooks and he cleans and he's a partner in the relationship. It's not presumed that she'd be doing all of the housework even though she has a job, which happens a lot in these books, even if she doesn't have a job. So I thought that was really interesting as well for a book from the 80s. So there you go. Let's see. Spaceship, Forerunner technology. There's none of that. LGBTQ plus representation, and oh my god, there is. Raph is bisexual, and there's also Martin, who is a gay dude living in the like triplex that they live in, and I can't remember his partner's name, but they're a couple and they aren't treated in a stereotypical manner. They aren't vilified by the rest of the group. It was pretty surprising, and I was pretty pleased with that. Portals or black holes? No. Microfiche? Yes. The microfiche is mentioned at one point. I'm like, how come it's mentioned so much? But yep, there we go. The microfiche. The male MC is kind of a dick? No, because the male MC is a woman, not a male. Yay. Racial equality? I mean, it's not outwardly stated. There's a few people of color that are mentioned, and they're just I guess so, but it's not like a focus of the story. So I would say yes, because there's no like stereotypes about people of color, and people of color are in the book. They're not the main characters, but they are in the book. Plasma or other future weapons? No. Post-apocalyptic? No. I mean, it's more dystopian, I guess, so not really. Bounty hunters or assassins? None of that. Galactic war? Nope. Tech similar to today? Yes. There's data links that people can have in their homes, which I'm assuming is some sort of internet. And then a printout machine, which we know is a printer. There's also a part where she goes to McDonald's, and it's even better than we have today, since every time I go to the machine in the McDonald's, it doesn't work. So I'm going to read the McDonald's scene because I think it's funny. Let's see. She stopped at the corner. As usual, there was little traffic, so she crossed without waiting for the light to change. McDonald's was nearly empty, and she decided to salve her wounds with a hamburger. Yep. She went to the back, gave her order to the metal wall, and inserted her car in a slot. A window clicked and opened, offering her a Big Mac and French fries with a Coke. The slot extruded her card. Better! It's better than the system they have, though I guess there's not a lot of options. You basically get Big Mac, Coke, and fries, and that's it? You don't get anything else? That's okay. We probably don't need so many options. But then again. Anyway, does this book pass the Bechdel test? Yes, it does. Sarah and her coworkers talk about a lot of stuff. And she also talks with some other people about, she talks about Raph, but she also talks about the spaceship and things like that. So yeah, it totally does. Quick pick bonus, reptile aliens? No. Female MC? Yes. Convergent evolution? No. So yeah, that's the kind of interesting things about this book. This book actually is quite a fascinating book because it is kind of before its time in like the themes. Not really the themes, but like how socially it's kind of before its time. I was pleasantly surprised to find all this stuff in it that was not, stereotypical of the 80s in terms of sex and gender and race and things like that. So I'll look it up, another Pamela Sargent book, I think. Have you read this book? If so, let me know. And thanks for watching.